Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. If you're returning and you haven't hit subscribe, what are you doing? Okay, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We like just 200 short. So if you've been watching, go ahead, pay your dues, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and then we can go ahead and get into our regular routine. So let me know in the chat if you've already paid your dues, okay? Hey Alicia, thank you for being first in the comments. Y'all, we got a brand new season of Ready to Love to discuss. Literally just stopped talking about Ready to Love season 4 last week. I ain't mad at it though, because I'm glad to be talking to y'all, every Sunday for brunch at Necey's. So I hope y'all like the thumbnail. Go ahead, get into the thumbnail, okay? I tried to pull some of the heavy hitters or the people that I feel are going to be the heavy hitters this season. And y'all know every single season has a formula to it. Every single season. You see Clifton. Clifton, I have to say, y'all, honestly, he is probably one of the best looking contestants that I've seen on this show in a minute. I think I've been watching since season 2 or season 3. I've been watching since season 2 or season 3. And I'm like, okay, Clifton is a handsome man. He's a handsome man. Then you see the kid in the yellow dress. She's very fit, a beautiful chocolate woman. Then you see Wiley in the middle, former athlete. And I knew that the ladies were going to love him. He's a little bit younger. And then you see Sabrina. Y'all, Sabrina in the green dress, she is super cute. She's about her business. And she's one of the main reasons why I'm saying that there's a formula to the show. She's only 36, so she's on the younger side. We've usually seen them do a little bit younger, okay? Y'all know how they like to do. They like to cast the men that's damn near 50 years old and the women that's, a fresh 32. So to see her 36, I'm like, okay, she's closer to the age range, but she's definitely going to be a fave. And then to the far right, y'all, we see Demetrius. Y'all, Demetrius, I knew this man was going to be a fave, but in my opinion, I think that the ladies are just hyping it up because he's bald and bearded. And that's what the ladies love. They love bald and bearded. But you know who they didn't love bald and bearded on was Fernando. It didn't work for him. But we're going to talk about all the connections that we saw so far on the episode. With Fernando, in my opinion, I feel like since he was one of the first ones in, the ladies were all for it at first. But as more men started to trickle in, they was like, but what about your homeboy? but what about your homeboy? So I feel like Fernando fell victim to that amongst his other red flags. So we are going to go ahead and get into that. But before we do, let me go ahead and give my thank you for y'all who've already joined the conversation. Hey, Nola Reeds, thank you. Keisha, thank you so much. Sabrina, she done paid her dues. And Monique, yes, no way Fernando is 34. No way, no way, no way. So I think we can go ahead and I think we should talk about this in order of connections rather than one-on-one. One thing I do want to say is shout out to OWN for not making us sit through a casting special. It does give me clues as to what I see later on in the season, but majority of the time I could tell who these people are based on the first 10 seconds in their interview. I can usually pick up on a lot of red flags. So I'm glad we didn't have to sit through a casting special, but y'all tell me, y'all help me out, because I feel like it was only 2.5 people that I really saw clear red flags on. Okay. Those people were Paul/P.O. The other person was Fernando. And then the last person who I kind of sort of have a red flag on, but I'm not sure, is Demetrius. And Demetrius is the one that I showed y'all in the thumbnail to the far right, who's bald and bearded. Y'all tell me outside of that if y'all picked up on any other red flags. I was like, y'all are making it seem like y'all might have a solid group of people, but based on the previews, it's gonna be a lot of drama, and we're here for it. So let's go ahead and get into the review, y'all. This is season 5, episode 1 of Ready to Love. They have headed down the Potomac River further into the DMV to get another set of black singles. This time, y'all, instead of 10 men and 10 women, we start out with 7 men and 7 women. So the numbers are already cut. The name of this episode is Quality Over Quantity. I didn't know why they did this. I thought they did it because they had less episodes. But I honestly now, like listening to it, I think they just want to mix some ish up. And I think it's actually going to be better that way. Hey, y'all coming in. It's going to be better that way. So we find out, okay? We have a couple people coming in, but then Tommy does what he does. Everybody's standing around for the champagne toast, and we find out not one, but two people. I got to do it just like Tommy liked to do it. Not one, but 2 people are going home tonight. 1 man and 1 woman, and everybody already is shocked. Everybody like, what? This is already less people than what we started with, right? So let's get into the connections. I'm super excited that they sending 2 people home tonight. Go ahead and get them on the chopping block. Get them out the way. So the first connection that I want to talk about, or interaction, because this is a lack of connection, is Joy and Fernando. So Fernando, he's introduced to us, and every single clip of him that I got just looks in confusion, looks bad, and I don't know. I couldn't get a better clip of you, Fernando. But this was my red flag for him. He told us that his last relationship, his girlfriend did not care for him at all. She would have different men coming in and out of the house. She would be sleeping with men in his house. She would plan week-long vacations to go to swingers resorts, and she would go without him. And that's unfortunate, but that's not typical of a relationship for women to be dogging dudes out like it's not typical. Okay, even though I know women are capable and women do it, it's not typical at all. So to me, I was like, that's a red flag. It's something wrong with you, number one. Or number 2, you're going to have so much trauma and so many insecurities from that last relationship that you're going to pack it onto the new one. Something, I don't know, that was a red flag for me. So Joy is who he's talking to. She's 41 and she looks good. She does look good. She's beautiful. She is a professional singer. Their whole conversation, he's asking her a series of questions, shooting them off. And y'all, let's look at this suit real quick. This is what I'm talking about. When Fernando first entered the mansion, it seemed like the women were, first impression before they spoke to him, they were willing to give him an opportunity. But as more men started to trickle in, you get Clifton, you get Demetrius, you get the Wileys, the better looking men. Then all of a sudden, Fernando is taking a back seat. They also dogged Fernando out about his suit. And his suit did look a mess. I'm sorry. He's giving deacon of the church in this top picture right here, the way that the just the posture, the seating, and everything. So that was gonna be a no for me. So Joy says it's definitely not a connection because it definitely feels like an interview. He's asking her a bunch of questions, and she's just like, "No, I'm not really feeling him at all." At all. Life Through Jay said he had on a funeral suit. He had on his go-to. One of the suits that he keep in the plastic in the back of his closet, he had on a go-to and he just put it on. He could have done a little bit better than that. So we'll move on to the next connection. Y'all, the next connection or interaction, okay, lack of connection, is Wiley and Kena. Now, I know y'all probably wondering why I got this picture of Monique in the very bottom. I kept watching this episode and I was like, Kena looks like somebody. And I couldn't think about exactly who she looked like. And something about just like her aura, something about the facial structure reminded me of Monique. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping, okay? I was the only one in the house who said, and my fiance was like, nah, she don't look like Monique. Yes, she does. Like, people can look similar and not weigh the same. Like, I think he said no because Monique was obviously bigger, but no, they look the same to me. The rounded nose, the cheekbones. Yes, but whatever. Okay, I couldn't help but look at her and think about Monique. So we see Wiley, who's 32. He's one of the younger ones. He's also a former athlete. He is a teacher at a charter school. He's having a conversation. Rachel says, Monique, I see it, but wouldn't have thought it. Okay, as long as I know that you see it, because I know that I was not tripping. I'm like, come on. Okay, she says no. J Dub says Sherry Shepherd. They say they don't see it. I I saw it. That's all I could think about the whole time I was watching. So anyway, he's a teacher at a charter school. He's having a conversation with Kena, and it's something about her that just doesn't give soft when she's having interactions with these men. A lot of the feedback that they were getting was that she was guarded and that, she just wasn't relaxed. It wasn't giving soft. I felt like when she was talking to Wiley, a lot of her posturism, a lot of the way she was talking to him came off as if maybe she thought he was a kid. And the reason why I'm saying that is because she clearly said, "How old are you?" in the middle of the conversation. He says, I'm 32. She said, "Okay, well, you look 35. He said, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?" She says, "Older. I'm definitely older." So 39. Kena's 39. I'm like, I'm not understanding why she just didn't share her age. I know most women or some women don't like to do that. But the reason why I'm saying I'm not understanding is because they're going to show your age on the show, Kena. just tell me your age, Kena. And then the other thing that turned me off about Kena was whenever he said that he was a teacher, she said, "Okay, what grade?" And he said, "Well, I'm a teacher at a charter school, a high school." And she said, "Okay, well, not all charter schools are high schools." And he said, "Yes." I'm like, why are you trying to correct him? She was given very much, "I know better than you. I have, a couple years on you." And I was just like, I don't know about it. Okay. So Wiley ends up saying in his confessional that it was definitely not a match for him. Next, y'all, we see Sabrina and Demetrius. Not surprised at all by this connection. Okay. Not surprised at all. Just because I feel like these two are Ready to Love's most wanted this season. A lot of the men said Sabrina is exactly who they wanted in terms of having a woman on paper and her physical beauty. Demetrius, he sounds like what a lot of the women want. He has this quiet assertiveness about him. He has a military background, bald, bearded, tall, chocolate. That's what all the ladies like. So as soon as I saw them separately, I already knew that they were going to have some sort of connection. So we find out that both of them have been divorced. Sabrina was divorced because she said she got married really young. There were some things she didn't know. Neither one of them were ready. Demetrius says that he was divorced and he takes complete fault for the demise of that marriage because there was some infidelity. Now, y'all, he said he was only married for 3 years. The reason why I called this a half red flag, because if y'all were here for the beginning of the review, I told y'all there were 2.5 red flags that I was unsure on. Demetrius is a half red flag. And some of y'all might not like this, okay? I appreciate our servicemen and everything that they do, but I have yet to think of one, especially a young one who has been enlisted since high school, who is faithful. So part of me wonders, like, did he just hurry up and get married for that check? Um, or was it, I'm unsure, did he truly outgrow what he's saying? Both of them also bond over the fact that they have invested in their mental health. Both of them go to counseling, and it sounds like they both have addressed some of their faults. But Demetrius then says, "I'm ever changing, so I'm still going," which is good. But that's just me prejudging him. That's just me having a little bit of uneasiness when it comes to these young military men, because they be the first ones to be like, "Hey, let me fly you out. Hey, you trying to get married or not? I got this housing credit." So I really don't know. I'm glad to see that he addressed his fault in the demise of his previous marriage and that there was a lot of infidelity, but I'm sure it's more to the story. So he's no longer active military, but he's contracted for the government. So yeah, I definitely see these two having a connection that's going to last throughout the season. She's definitely going to be his number one. Now, my guess, y'all, this is where I think things are going to get messy. This episode, they didn't show Sabrina and Clifton really interacting, and we haven't gotten to him yet, but let me go ahead and show y'all. Clifton is the dude to the far left. Clifton is also, in my opinion, Ready to Love's most wanted. Honestly, y'all, in all actuality, I think that he probably is more wanted than Demetrius on the far right. So eventually, I think that we're going to get into a situation where the ball is in Sabrina's court, and whoever Clifton is entertaining on the side, whoever Demetrius is entertaining on the side, their decisions will be affected by Sabrina. Y'all remember this, okay? What's today's day? Today is January 30th. Minute mark is almost 17 minutes. We're going to come back to this. But I definitely feel as though Sabrina will later on build a connection with Clifton. And then from there, that's going to shake up a bunch of things. That's just my guess. And that's just based on the formula of the show. Okay. The pretty girl, she always affects several relationships, similar to Sydney last season. All right. So let's move on to this clown. Let's move on to this clown, y'all. We finally got around to the clown of the season, y'all. Let me go ahead and introduce y'all to that person. Because like I told y'all, it's a formula for the season. And the clown of season 5 seems as though it's going to be P.O. / Paul. He wants to remind us every 2 seconds, yeah, my name P.O. because I deliver. Post office, I deliver. Oh, girl said, so does Grubhub. I was like, that was too funny. So, Paul, he has a personality that is an acquired taste, in my opinion. I feel like if he was less annoying or less obnoxious in his interactions, that he too would be the chosen one because he's bald and bearded. He's not an ugly looking man. That's not a good picture. The second one right there, but he's not an ugly looking man. He had a nice suit on. I think he said he has a nice job. So it's him. It's something wrong with him. So we see Paul and Ace having a conversation. Ace, she has been married before. So during their conversation, she says, yes, Monique. She says, I'm tired of the clown of the season casting. Yes, but it's all a part of the formula. Clown of the season, pretty young girl. And when I say young, I don't mean she's like extra young, but she's usually younger than all of the other girls. And that's what they did with Sabrina. So I'm just like, come on. But whatever. J-Dub said, is it me or does it look like you add +5 to everybody's age? No, it's not just you. It's a good amount of them where you look like you probably could add a +5. Ooh, I don't know. So this dude right here, in his interaction with Ace, he's talking to her and she says, well, I've been married. I'm 37 years old. I've been married and divorced. And he said, wait. So you've been married before? And she says, yes, I was married. It wasn't long. It was probably 1.5 years, 2 years. And he goes, oh, so you didn't even give it a chance. You just called it quits. And she was like, no, I wouldn't say that. I was young. And he was like, okay, so if we get into something, you just gonna call it quits like that. You didn't even give it a chance. And it was real childish to me because you could tell she was uncomfortable with the ignorance, because that's what it was. And he ends up saying, well, no, you don't like what I'm saying. I'm here to challenge you. He's trying to make it seem like it's flirtatious, but you really looking like an ass. And I'm just like, I can't stand dudes like this. It is this P.O. / Paul. He reminds me of those lame dudes that will try to shoot their shot by tearing women down. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The type of dude where you walking into Smoothie King and he's saying, you gonna buy my smoothie today? Yeah, I already know you're gonna buy my drink. Or the type of dude where you walking around minding your business and he like, you think you all that, huh? Who told you that? Who told that type of guy? He reminds me of that type of guy. J-Dub. He says, you don't ask those type of questions when someone is opening up to you about your divorce. Exactly. Exactly. Something about this, he's a part of the formula, y'all. They always have to cast somebody who has no understanding of what social norms are. No damn home training. Okay, let me not even get technical. They always cast somebody that ain't got no home training. And that's who Paul is this season. So move on. Let's get into Precious and Tory. Precious, I don't know. Okay, from the beginning I felt like she was a little bit extra. She's extra, but like I told you about the previous season, it's okay to be extra if you're pretty. And that's not my own opinion. That's just based on what we've seen through the history of the show. It's okay to be extra if you are attractive. Y'all, Denise made it far. She was an old model. She was extra AF, but she was attractive. She made it. Camille, extra AF, but she was attractive. So at first, I didn't know if I was going to be able to tolerate Precious because she seemed very assertive in who she wanted. And I usually feel like men aren't attracted to that. The men that come on this show that are in the age range that they're in, they really want a woman to be a Southern, typical, old traditional value ass wife. That's usually what they want. They don't want a woman to be assertive the way that Precious is. So I didn't know if it was going to work out because she definitely was shooting her shot. But she had to sit down with Tory, and it seemed like they had a really genuine conversation. And I was like, you know what? I think I like her. But I feel like Precious has the type of personality where she is going to be on so many people's roster, but not necessarily a lot of people's number ones. She's going to have a lot of influence into what other people have going on in their relationship. Just my opinion. So Precious and Tory have a conversation talking about their upbringing. They start talking about Romeo and Juliet, and then she's like, what kind of relationship advice did your mom give you that you felt like was wrong? And he lets her know that him and his mom, their relationship has been somewhat fractured. He wasn't raised by his mother because his mother was in the military. She lived in Kuwait for majority of his life, and he was raised by his grandparents. She can relate to that because she has been estranged from her mother for 15 to 20 years at this point, she says. So I feel like they can relate to each other on that. The only thing that I feel was helpful information, because I'm not going to call it a red flag. The thing that I found to be helpful was when Tory told us that he's not used to intimacy or affection or emotion. He says that the first time his mom said she loved him was like 4 or 5 years ago. And now anytime he sees emotion around him, it makes him feel awkward. So I feel like that's probably something that we should remember, because I'm sure it affects his relationships with women. So both of them, they feel like they got a nice little vibe going on. So finally, Tommy makes his way around the room talking to the ladies, and he says, ladies, who are you feeling and who are you not? So as I mentioned to y'all before, Ready to Love Most Wanted this season is definitely going to be Demetrius, Clifton, and then lastly, Wiley, in my opinion. I knew it. All of the women said Demetrius, Clifton, Wiley. Tory was number 4. Tory was the dude with the locks who was talking to Precious. As far as who are you not feeling, easily pointed out them red flags, y'all. It was going to be Fernando, whose girlfriend was cheating on him and going to swingers resorts, bringing men up in the house and sleeping with him in your bed. Okay, this dude right here, in the deacon outfit. And then the other red flag, the other bottom 2 was P.O./Paul. No surprise there. But y'all, anytime we get to the bottom 2, it's especially in round 1, the clown will always win. We've seen it seasons and seasons before. We've seen it the season before last, where I feel like it was Ron. Ron made it over the mailman. Then we seen it again. I don't know if Corey was in the bottom too, but either way it goes, I have to tell y'all, the clowns always make it past the first episode, and this is the formula. So ultimately, they go ahead and do round 1 elimination to send the men home first, and y'all already know who got sent home. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Fernando, 34, the analyst, the one that was cheated on, the one where she was knocking boots in your house, the one that was running job interviews during the mixers. Now, excuse me, y'all. Now, we're not surprised by this at all. Not one bit. If you are, let me know. Do y'all think that somebody other than Fernando should have went home? I know some of y'all gonna say Paul, but do y'all think somebody other than Fernando should have went home? J-Dub says he wishes they sent P.O. home, but he's good for TV. Facts. That's what I'm saying. That's a part of the formula. The clown is going to make it. Siba, thank you so much for reminding me about the formula, because I couldn't remember who was the clown that lasted. She says Troy too, not only Ron. Thank you. Keisha is not surprised at all that Fernando went home first. And y'all, let's be real. Let's be all the way real. Pick the least attractive by society standards, by Black women and society standards in this picture, in this slide. I'm not calling the man ugly. I'm just saying the least attractive, easily, okay? Paul is not unattractive, okay? He's annoying, but he's attractive. It goes similar to how I said, if you're a woman, you can be extra, but you have to be attractive. Paul, he's extra, and he's not bad to look at. So the clown was gonna make it. Everybody else have all these athletic type builds, beard. Fernando looked like the deacon of the church. So that's why they sent him home. But I'm not surprised, okay? I hope you find love, but your love is just not here. Oh, Life Through Jay. She says Wiley. Life Through Jay says Wiley is the least attractive. You know what, girl? When I was looking at this picture, I had a feeling somebody was going to say that. But the reason why I have to say by society standards is because Wiley is an athlete. You see the cuts on his arm right here? You see the cuts on his arm. You can look at Fernando's face and you could tell that he looked like the deacon at the church. Okay? No? I'm just saying. I'm just saying that I think that's the way that it goes, or at least what I've been seeing. So now that they done sent one man home, it's time to get into who is the lady that's going to be leaving. Y'all, I guessed this from jump. And I don't know if it's because I've seen way too many seasons. I don't know if this is just typically how it is, but I was able to guess who was going to go home from jump. And y'all, whenever I watch these episodes, I need to start tweeting, because it would be so fun if I could do my little guessing games before I do these reviews, because I don't be wanting to give it away at the very beginning, because I know some of y'all watch the reviews, but not the episode. So y'all go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Before we get into the lady that goes home, this is probably a good time for y'all to go ahead and pay y'all's dues. We have 106 people in the chat. Go ahead, like the video. As I said in the beginning, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We just about 200 short. So go ahead, do me a favor, like the video and hit subscribe. Okay, let me go ahead and throw in a little bit of self-commercial. So y'all know I love talking about documentaries, right? Recently this week, they reopened the case of Kendrick Johnson in March of 2021, but they went ahead and finalized whatever opinion that the lead sheriff had on this case, and they still ruled it accidental. They said it was nothing else to be discussed. So I watched the Finding Kendrick Johnson documentary, and I want to come talk to y'all about it on Tuesday. So if y'all are watching this on live, or if you're watching it in the replay, comment below. Let me know if y'all want to have this discussion on live, or if y'all want a pre-recorded video. But When I watched this movie, y'all, it moved me, okay? So much so that I was not able to come and even record myself talking about it because the video is graphic. So for those of you who don't like watching stuff like this, I would love to share this story with y'all through my review. So let me know, do you want this on live or do you want this pre-recorded? We can expect to talk about it on Tuesday. All right. So back to our regularly scheduled program, y'all. Let's get into it. So now, y'all, Fernando has gone home. We see Clifton and Joy having a conversation. Makia Long, she says, where can we watch it? Girl, I think it's on HBO Max, but I posted something on my community page. Go to my community page and scroll down, and I actually shared where you could watch the movie. But I must say, it's very graphic. So let me go ahead and throw that trigger warning in there. And that's why I'm like, let me go ahead and watch this so I can talk to y'all about it, especially for those people who don't like watching stuff like that. I can break it down and we can have a conversation over some water. Thank y'all. It's on Stars. It's on Stars. Okay. So y'all, we see Clifton and Joy having a conversation. Clifton is 44. He's the only one to me that looks his age or could be about 40. He's a big teddy bear. Now, y'all, Joy is the singer. She's the one who had a conversation with Fernando earlier, and she said it felt like an interview. So now, y'all, they sit down, they're having a connection. Clifton is being very forward with how he feels about Joy. He says he's really feeling her. You know, he says, my connection is here. And she says, oh, like right here. And he says, yeah. So she gives him her champagne and was like, here, do you want some? And he drinks after her in a whole pandemic. And she says, well, you know, my lips were all over that. And he said, even better. So they basically kissed. Okay. They basically kissed. Now, what I get from this scene, in my opinion, Clifton to me seems like he could be very flirty. Clifton, you said my connection is here, but you know, you go 10 feet, she gonna run a whole mile, in my opinion. So I think she's going to believe that she's your number one. Also, the same way that she gave you her glass of champagne, in my opinion, I felt like that was territory marking. Okay. So it was like, here, kiss me. Here, you basically kiss me. It was like, you know, when high schoolers give each other hickeys, territory marking, in my opinion. So what I'm guessing is Joy is probably a very competitive woman. Clifton is ready to love's most wanted. And I feel like Joy is going to be overprotective about the connections that Clifton will be making. For some reason, Joy also gives me the vibe that her only connection is Clifton. Y'all tell me, it's too early to guess, but based on what we've seen of the other men there, I don't really see Joy making a connection with anybody else. J-Dub. He said, why did Clifton wear a t-shirt to the meet and greet? Okay, let me go ahead and tell you why. Clifton wore a t-shirt to the meet and greet because he wanted everybody to see them guns. He wanted everybody to see his entire stature with the nice fitting pants underneath and the gold chain on top. I thought it was a nice outfit, but he definitely looked a little bit underdressed. But there's always exceptions to things if you look good. Okay. You can be underdressed if you look good. You can be extra if you look good. And I think Clifton was the exception. Hey, T. T says, I thought they could be a match, though, low key. Talking about, yes, Clifton and Joy, I feel like they definitely could be a match. But Clifton is not about to put all his eggs in one basket. Whereas I feel like Joy may end up doing that, not because she wants to, but because I don't think she's going to have any other connections there. So let's move on to talk about Tiffany. Y'all know every single season is always a 30-something, you know, almost 40-year-old woman who, whenever she gets on this show and she starts talking to these men, she has to let them know, I'm a Southern girl. I can cook from scratch. I feel like a wife makes a house a home. And even though Tiffany wasn't overly extra with that, that's definitely mostly what I remember her talking about. Besides the fact that she has 2 sons and that her oldest son does not want her to be hurt. So I don't know. Y'all tell me. I really hope that Tiffany isn't a pick me, but every single season, y'all, every single season, the women get on here, some of them, they get on here and they lead with Southern hospitality and a big booty. Y'all know I ain't lying. So Tiffany and Tory are having a conversation, and he says he feels like she's guarded. She's very nervous in the conversation from what I'm seeing, and for that reason, it's not really very much of a connection. However, we do see her have like a little flirtatious moment with Wiley. So I think they may have shown her in a bad light just to justify why she was in the bottom two, because it seemed like she did have a connection with Wiley. Makia said she was a forgettable pick-me. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. That's how Tasia was last season. That's why she was mad, because she was leading with Southern hospitality and a big booty, and it wasn't enough to get her by. It's too early to say if Tiffany is that shallow, but based on the clips that they showed of you this episode, that's part of the formula. You were Southern hospitality with the big booty, and that's what they were giving us. That's what they casted you as, based on what I saw in the last episode. So now let's move on, y'all. We see Laverne. Laverne, I really don't know many men named Laverne, but I guess this guy is interesting looking. I think it might be the glasses. We know what we know of him was that he used to be a bodybuilder. And I feel like when he's not in his confessional, he looks really good. Another bald and bearded. Y'all, it is a formula down to the looks on this show. Bald, bearded, bald, bearded. Then you got to cast somebody who will fill in the homegirl vibes right here. Then you got to cast somebody who's going to be homegirl vibes. So anyway, Laverne is talking to Sabrina. And I don't have the picture of Sabrina up here, but Sabrina is the pretty young thing, y'all. And what happens is they're starting to have a conversation. And this is where I'm like, I don't really know about Precious. Precious interrupts the conversation. And this is what I mean. She's very assertive. She comes over, y'all talk about Michael Jackson. Let me moonwalk and slide into this conversation. And I'm like, okay, Precious. I hate when I'm watching Ready to Love and it gives me PTSD from The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Okay. Because I used to love The Bachelor and The Bachelorette until they casted Matt James to be the Bachelor. Okay. They really wanted him. And I wonder if y'all watch the show. I know very few of y'all do. But they really casted this black man to be like the first black bachelor. I was excited about it. And until he brought his daddy on there and in front of all of the nation fulfilled the stereotype of his black father being absent. You did all that for these people on TV. And then on top of that, he ended up choosing the white girl who was a part of an antebellum party. Boy, I will never forget. No season has ever been the same. I don't care how many multicultural people y'all have put in the lead. Nobody has done it as well as Rachel, the first black bachelorette, because she kept it real. That's why she don't F with the Bachelor franchise anymore. But anyway, why I say PTSD is because when Laverne was talking to Sabrina and then talking to Precious, and then Kena comes, it was like, excuse me, can I interrupt? Excuse me, can I interrupt for a second? That's very much what it was giving. So it was just awkward. Everybody was interrupting. But what I want y'all to notice from this is that Kena hasn't really settled down with anybody to have a solid conversation. Kena interrupts here, and then she ends up interrupting this conversation as well. So she's just trying to get in where she fit in at this moment. And that's how I knew she was going to be in the bottom two. So next we see Clifton and Dekia having a conversation. Now, Clifton, when he was talking to the men and he talked about who his favorites were, he definitely mentioned Dekia first. He said Joy, but he mentioned Dekia first. And that's the reason why I feel like Clifton probably shouldn't have told Joy that his connection was there. Now, I know a connection is just a connection, but I feel like she will be quicker to close off her options than he will. Obviously, we're seeing that, right? So they're having a conversation, excited to see each other finally because they had been seeing each other since they walked through the door. And Kena interrupts again, just trying to get in where she fit in. So finally, Tommy says, okay, guys, we need to find out who are you feeling and who are you not feeling. This was easy. This was very easy, like for me to guess from jump. The only one that was maybe a surprise to me was Precious. So Sabrina is pretty much everybody's number one. She is what men want as far as looks, as far as what she does on paper. She seems like the type of woman that men want. Next is Precious, where a lot of people said they were feeling. The only reason why I was hesitant on if they would really like her is because she was assertive. She was assertive. But I'm glad to see that men are not falling for that submissive, I can cook, Southern, and I got a fat ass type of personality, because in seasons past, I feel like it worked for a long time. And now it just seems like the men aren't really pressed on that anymore. And let's be real, the men ain't really pressed on no traditional ass housewife because they're not trying to be traditional ass husbands and take over majority of these damn bills. Okay. So I don't think that is going to work with this season. Newer seasons, I've definitely seen men not really gravitate to that. They would much rather be excited if you had your own bag and you had a fat ass. Okay. Because it's less out of their pockets. Let's be real. So now, y'all, what'd you say? Y'all killing me. Okay. Anyway, so Precious was a surprise to me. Next, Dakia, she wasn't a surprise to me at all. She's beautiful, chocolate. Her body is shaped real nice, and she had on that yellow dress. Y'all know yellow looks beautiful on chocolate skin, so I knew she was gonna be in the top. Joy was also in the top, and Joy is the singer, the 41-year-old singer with the locks. So as far as who are you not feeling, y'all? Okay. So as far as who are you not feeling, Kena, number one. She was giving homegirl vibes. She also, to me, there was no real connection up. She just seemed really rough around the exterior. And not in a bad way. It just homegirl vibes. That's it. So Tiffany also was an option as far as who they weren't feeling. And if y'all need to know who Tiffany is, there was Southern Hospitality from Emporia, Virginia. Tiffany was also who they weren't feeling because they felt like they couldn't get through to her. Lastly, the person they said they weren't feeling was Ace. And that was Tory saying that because he said he couldn't get her to talk about anything other than yoga. So, y'all already know who's going to go home. Bloop, Kena. Kena goes home. I told y'all she was just trying to get in where she fit in. She was not able to make real connections at all, in my opinion. And I see y'all talking about Precious makeup and hair. Y'all not lying. I saw it. I saw it. But the reason why I wasn't even going to talk about it was because, in my opinion, the men didn't seem pressed on it, and I was surprised. But whatever. So Kena ends up going home, as she should. As she should. There is someone out there for you. They're just not here, Kena. They're not here. So, y'all, that's all I got for Ready to Love. For those of you who were not in the live when I had to do my little commercial, number one, first things first, go ahead, pay your dues, like the video up, hit subscribe because we are almost to 10K. That's a big deal. We're almost to 10K. So like the video up, hit subscribe, 10K. The next thing that I want y'all to do, I saw a lot of people in the live chat say that y'all want to have this Kendrick Johnson discussion on live. So we can definitely do that. I'll just go ahead and get my graphics together. And again, I'm forewarning y'all, I'm not about to share the gruesome graphics. But I definitely want to talk to y'all about this case. So I'll go ahead and post the live so we can have that discussion on Tuesday evening. So Tuesday evening, we'll be talking about Kendrick Johnson documentary, okay? So I hope that y'all really enjoyed this review. I hope we had a good little kiki. This is the second Sunday in a row that I have not reviewed Ladies Who List. So if y'all are missing that show and y'all still want to have that conversation, y'all let me know. I'd be more than happy to add it back to the rotation, okay? But until then, I hope y'all have a good Sunday. Like the video up, and I will see y'all on Tuesday to talk about the Kendra Johnson documentary. Bye.